Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever this is. This is Tanks and Tutties, brought to you by Tubbs and Frankie. Today is Tuesday, July 11th, and this is episode 53. Today we got locks and long shots. Couple of updates for you. We decided that until football season starts to ramp up a little bit, we brought back a couple of segments like we were talking about last week. And we've also got a new segment that's going to stay until football kicks up, and then we'll let you know when we're going back to kind of talk about football, and we'll remove a couple. So today we've got In the News is back. We decided that one of us will write each week and the other will read, and then we'll switch. This week I wrote, and Frankie's going to read it to you guys. It's good. It's pretty good. I think it's going to be funny. And then we're going to talk about the MLB Draft. Quick notes there on the top four, and Frankie's got some Brewers info. The Derby. Got a couple thoughts there. I've got some beef. We'll get into that. And then we're going to take on the NFL Immaculate Grid. If you guys haven't played this, it's a 3x3 grid, and you've got logos of teams or a description. So, like, it could say, 3,000 passing yards in a season or some shit like that, and it'll have a team. So, for example, it'll say 3,000 is way too low. Everybody does that. It'll say 5,000 passing yards in a season, and then it'll have, say, the Steelers up top. And that would obviously be Ben Roethlisberger. So we're going to tackle that together. Neither of us have done it today. And then we've got the top 5 sports people we'd like to see in a celebrity home run derby. I didn't know how to word that. Just kind of coaches, players, maybe even a GM. Who knows? And then roulette this week. Frankie's back in Memphis, so I'm going to do roulette every week, but he is the one paying for it this week. So let's get into it. How was your weekend, Frankie?
My weekend was pretty good. I got out golfing this weekend. It was pretty hot down here in Memphis. It said it was only 85, which I guess I shouldn't really be saying only because 85 is still pretty hot. Started out real well. I think I went 2 over through the first 3, and I was like, all right, we're on a good pace here. Maybe I'll set a record low for myself or something. Then it kind of fell apart in the middle, and towards the end, I only played 9, but I think I shot a 48, I think I finished at.
Respectable.
Sunday weather was, or that was Friday. Saturday, we basically just did some shopping and kind of went around town. Didn't really have many plans this weekend. Weather wasn't great on Saturday. Sunday, it literally rained from the time I woke up till the time I went to bed, with maybe a couple spots where it wasn't raining. So we just kind of sat around and watched movies all day. Pretty boring weekend, but it was nice to be able to get out and golf. I do want to say when I went out and golfed, I actually scheduled my tee time about 30 minutes before I was supposed to be there, and it's a 20-minute drive. So bad planning on my part. I thought it was supposed to rain on Friday. It ended up not raining, and then I wasn't planning on golfing, and then Paige was like, hey, we should golf. And I said, okay, say less, and I scheduled a tee time. So beautiful course, though. Can't wait to get back out. It says it's supposed to rain this weekend. If it's not, maybe I'll try and get out again. Plan it more than 30 minutes in advance. I'm not really sure. We'll see. How was your weekend?
Mine was pretty good, pretty boring like you. Sid was out of town, so Friday, I think I just played some games. Yeah, Friday was pretty chill. And then Saturday,
yeah, Friday we grinded the show.
Yep. Saturday I went golfing as well. I was bitching to you on Friday because it was supposed to thunderstorm. And then I woke up Saturday and it cleared up, so we were like, all right, great, let's get out there. And then we're on hole 1. And it looks like it's nighttime. The sky is that dark. So luckily on hole 2, we hit our drives. We pull up to them, and there's a little shelter. So we camped out under that for about 20 minutes, and then it light rained one more time, and then that was it. So we actually got good weather, but I played like shit, so that was annoying. It's a tough course, so it's real tight. You can only hit driver on like 4 holes, and I hit it on almost every hole that wasn't a par 3, so that was not good planning on my end. And then the putting was just atrocious. So I went to the bar after with some buddies, came home, played some more MLB. And then Sunday I was actually super productive. I went to the gym, I went grocery shopping, I did some cooking, and I cleaned my house. So good on Jake for having a productive Sunday, because normally I don't do shit. But Other than that, and then Sid came over and I think we watched some shows. But yeah, pretty basic weekend. Going to the parents' cottage this weekend, so that'll be fun to get out in the sun, hopefully burn a little bit. My tan is behind from what I like to see this time of year. Not exactly looking like the Greek farmer I want to. Locks and long shots, though, I'm heating up. I hit a lock 2 weeks ago now because we didn't do one last week with the 1 year episode. I had Morikawa first round under 68.5. He shot a 66. No sweat there. 35 and 25 on my locks now. This week, very little research into this. I just wanted to stay with the golf because I'm hot. That's 2 in a row now. Justin Thomas top 40. You can get it at minus 150. It's Justin Thomas. The name says it all. I don't need to say more. Just Justin Thomas. That's it. Long shots, not so good. 19 and 39. I had Keegan Bradley under 68.5 round 1. He was coming off a big win, and he shot a 69. Not too hot. But this week, I got one I really like. Scotty Scheffler, I believe he's first in the FedEx standings. He's trying to grow that a little bit to get that stroke lead in the championship there. So I like Scotty Scheffler top 5 plus 150. Nice juice. You can slap DraftKings has a boost there right now. I think it's 50%. You can slap that on there. Or you can take them outright and add plus 300 to it. So it's up to you. Frankie, your locks and long shots.
Yeah, I am also getting a little bit warmer on my bets. I had Ricky under 68.5 first round in the Rocket Mortgage. Obviously, that was in Detroit, so he won that one. 15, 12, and 1 now on my locks. This week, I'm adding one that I hope everybody else is going to add. I honestly could not find anything else that I liked, and it's a slow week in sports. No baseball lines are out except for the All-Star game. So I'm going very juicy on this one. All-Star game Nerfy. It's Zach Gallen versus Garrett Cole in the first inning. If there's a run, I get it's the best of the best, but there should not be a run scored here. All-Star games are pretty notorious for Nerfies, I believe. So I'm probably going to throw 90% of my account balance on that tonight. Just kidding, not actually. But I will definitely be on it heavy, just responsibly. Long shots, I also am starting to heat up a little bit. The record is still bad, so I'm not even going to read that off. But I had JD Martinez for Dinger Tuesday last week. He did indeed hit a home run. He actually hit 2 of them. I honestly don't remember if I actually even bet that or not.
You did not.
Pretty sure I did.
You bitched to me that you didn't bet it. And I was like, at least you hit a long shot. And you're like, I don't give a shit. I didn't bet it.
Yeah, so that was a little frustrating. Like I said, slow week in sports. Couldn't really find much I liked. Instead of going golf, I'm going to stick to baseball. And I found one that I actually also really like this one. Like yours, I really like this one. Bo Bichette as the MLB hits leader, plus 140. He is the second favorite. Currently, the favorite is Luis Arias. And looking at stats, I'm trying to find it here. Currently, Luis Arias has 126. Bo Bichette has 122. Bo Bichette plays for a better team. He hits at the top of the lineup, so more than likely he's going to get more at-bats than Luis Arias. I get Luis Arias has a way better batting average and is trying to hit for 400. But I think Bo Bichette has a chance to make a run for the hits leader. Also need to watch out for Acuna, so keep an eye on that one.
That's a nice easy plus 140, but that's like your 6th still open long shot. When do we cap it? I forgot to write them down, but you've got AL rookie
I do
year,
have a
NL
lot,
rookie
yeah.
You've got Cy Youngs, and then not actually Cy Youngs. I forgot to write them down. There's a couple though. But honestly,
I have the
what
stolen base
right
leader. That's the thing. It's such a dead zone. This is quite possibly the worst week in sports of the year because NFL's not playing. NBA is Summer League, but nobody gives a shit about Summer League because it's all bums playing.
Yep.
You could bet golf if you want, but I honestly haven't been keeping up with golf as much as I want to. MLB is at the All-Star break, so you have one game until Friday. And then NHL is done. There's UFC, but I don't bet on UFC. And, WNBA as well. But I could maybe name you 2 players in the league, and that's about it.
Yeah, this is we said it a lot last year at this time because this is when we started the podcast, but this is just dog days, man. We got to power through, get to about middle of August. We can start get fired up about football.
Which, honestly, it worked out great because then come our yearly anniversary podcast, if we continue on the same trend as what we did this year, where we kind of throw together just a montage episode, it works out great because it fills in that space of when there's literally no sports happening. So
Yep. But that's why we brought the segments back. We're going to stick with them. And if we think anything else, we'll throw that in there too. We're going to kind of gauge how long this episode is and then go from there. Maybe add, maybe take away. We'll see how it goes. So our first segment that has returned in the news, Frankie, you got that ready for us?
Yeah. Where did you share this with me?
I sent it on Google Docs.
Oh, okay. Let me pull it up real quick.
So while you're pulling it up, I do have one thing
long
to say. It's not that long, though. I double-spaced it. Oh, do you have it ready already?
I do.
Okay.
Go ahead. I haven't read anything yet.
I was just going to, kind of give a description of what it's about, but it might be better if you just read it. So why don't you go ahead and then we'll talk about it.
All right. We have a bowling scandal, everybody. This happened a few weeks ago, but I feel like it needs to be brought up. SF Austin, who is an absolute powerhouse in the bowling world, has a head coach who is married to the assistant coach. The assistant coach, Steve Lemke, reportedly had a sexual relationship with one of the players, and his defense for this is absolutely hilarious. When asked, he defended himself by stating, "It has been amplified," in quotes, amplified to the level it is now because of the national championship caliber we have developed, end quote. It's not Lemke's fault he's such a good assistant coach. He taught these girls how to roll the rock. How can you not expect them to want to climb him like a tree? He then goes on to state, in quote, "I knew it was kind of a no-no, but there's not a rule saying it can't happen," end quote, Steve Lemke said. "There's not a law saying I'm going to jail for doing something like this. There's nothing in stone. I guess it's just an ethics code. Like, we frown upon it, but there's no rules. There's no law broken," end quote. There's no rules, kind of a gray area, but he took this as the green light. Kind of like when the light is yellow, but you hammer the gas and try to beat the red. The red, in this case, is the police. So Steve was caught when his wife Amber saw a scandalous text. "It didn't have anything in detail," Steve Lemke said of the text. "It was just about how amazing I am. Basically, in general perspective. Amber saw that and questioned me and got to the point where it just built up so much that I basically told her the truth after she dug through my phone." Yeah, that's it, dude. You are the greatest and so amazing. You use bowling practice as a way to slide in and cheat on your wife. This is embarrassing for the bowling world, and I just feel bad for Jake as he has to deal for this. For goodness sake, he just shot a .299 this year. Give the guy a break.
Frankie, I appreciate that. Your thoughts and prayers are always welcomed. But yeah, this was a few weeks ago, and I forgot to bring it up on the podcast, but I figured it was perfect for the first in the news. Yeah, basically this guy was just like, "Man, I'm just such a great assistant coach, and this chick wanted me, and I went for it." Like, how fucked up is that? You're a bowling coach.
So you said that I probably hadn't heard of this. I actually did hear about this. I think 2 weeks ago. I don't know if I saw it on Twitter or whatnot, but yeah, I saw it, and I was just kind of like, dude, what is wrong with this dude? First off, he's like, well, there's not a law against it. It's just like ethics and moral.
Right.
Yeah, no
like,
shit,
it's just, like,
dude.
Kind of morally wrong. Like, what the fuck, dude? And then, dude, the defenses for it are hilarious. There was another part I didn't throw in there because I realized how long it was getting. But he was like, yeah, when Amber started, she was the head coach, and I was home with the kids, and I was just volunteering. And then when I got hired on, she made me run the practices. And then he was, like, complaining about making dinner for her and the kids every night. Like, dude, oh, wow. It's so bad you got to make mac and cheese and hot dogs and still run a practice for bowling in college. It's not that hard.
Yeah,
you
saw
turn
that
the
too.
lanes
Yeah.
on and you say, throw your spares or throw a strike. Like, these people are very good bowlers already. There's not a lot you have to fucking do. Like, just a fucking all-time scumbag.
Yeah. Also, this is why you don't get in a relationship with a coworker.
Yeah.
Says me.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Who's now dating a girl that I worked with for 3 years.
But nothing bad ever happened, and you're no longer coworkers, and you won't be. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, you made it through. But, yeah, just love drama in the bowling world. I've never thought there was going to be a sex scandal for a bowling coach at a. Honestly, though, like SF Austin is like top of the line. They just won the national championship in like 21, I believe. And she filed for divorce, obviously, and he was given the choice to resign or be fired, and he resigned. And I don't know what he's up to now. I should have got a follow-up, but I'll keep an eye on that. All right, so that was the first in the news. Kind of weak now that I hear you read it back, but got to get warmed up. Yours are always very good, too, so we'll wait for that. But I also threw it together right before the show. Maybe I'll put some more effort into it next time. I apologize, listeners. That's on me. Hand up. You can't see me, but hand up.
No, that was good. That was good. I got a full week to work on one now, though, so
honestly, if we just put more time into it, didn't do it before, like it'd be good. Yours were always good. You had like 3 last time, so a little shorter on the next one is what I'm hearing. So MLB Draft. Frankie put a bunch of useless information in here, so I apologize. You guys have to listen to that, but he says it's going to be quick. Paul Skeens, number 1. Shout out to Frankie. He texted me about 15 minutes before the draft. He said, go bet Paul Skeens right now, number 1. He said it was like minus 120 or minus 110, I think it was. And,
yeah, it was minus 110 when I grabbed it.
I was like, well, why not Cruz? And he's like, he wants way too much money. He's not going number 1. So I was like, okay, bet. So I took Skeens, and then we both put enough on Cruz where if he did still go number 1, we're going to make money, and it was Skeens. So tell me about him.
Yeah, so just to sum that up real quick, basically the MLB Draft is the most confusing draft of all the 4 major sports. Actually, I don't really understand. I've never really paid attention to the NHL draft, so I don't really know how that one works.
NHL's
but
similar.
Yeah, but basically there's like a slot value where if a player gets like picked at this pick, they have to pay him approximately this much money, but the players can request more or less. The top pick was like 8.8 mil or something like that. Dylan Cruz was expected to go there, but he wanted over 10. People were expecting the Pirates were not going to pay up for that, which, especially in this draft class, the top 3 to 4 players were very similar. It didn't pay for them to pay up for Dylan Cruz, so they ended up taking Paul Skeens. He went 12-2 with a 1.69 ERA at LSU, and the craziest thing is he struck out 209 batters this year in just 122 and 2/3 innings, which is absolutely insane. Comparing him to like MLB guys, I would say he's very like peak Steven Strasburg or Garrett Cole. Like he's not, obviously when you think of Steven Strasburg, you think of a guy that's injured 24/7 and doesn't actually play for a team. But when Steven Strasburg was at his best, Garrett Cole was at his best, like literal best pitcher in baseball. That's kind of the comparison that Paul Skeens is getting. Stuff Plus. I know you don't want to hear this. It's a lot like OPS Plus.
Stuff Plus.
I'll sum it up the quick version. Basically, it tells you how nasty your pitch is and how hard it is to hit. His slider is one of the nastiest pitches, and if you took the Stuff Plus rating on his slider, it would currently rank the second best slider in all of MLB, which is insane.
I did see.
And
hang on. Tubbs stat for you. He has a swing and miss percentage above 50% on 2 of his pitches. Fun fact.
Yeah, his slider is like 66% whiff rate, which is like that pitch is literally going to be untouchable if he can keep it up.
Yeah, I think it was changeup was the other one, and then his fastball was even like 40%, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and his changeup he doesn't even throw that much, so if he can develop his changeup and become like a solid 3 pitch and maybe add a 4th pitch, this dude is going to be one of the best pitchers, I think, to be in the MLB in quite some time. Like he'll be a top 5 pitcher, I would say, within 2 years. That's my guess. I'm expecting him in the MLB next season right away. He's a college pitcher, so he's pretty close to ready. He'll probably get sent to AA here in the next couple weeks and start pitching. And honestly, if he performs and the Pirates are contending, which I don't foresee that to happen, but if they are contending, there's even a slight chance that we could see him in the MLB this year. So that would be pretty freaking sweet.
The only thing about him that I heard during the draft is that, one, he started at Air Force, which isn't a big deal. Fun fact, Dylan Cruz hit a tank off of him when he was at Air Force. It was his first career college home run. And then he transferred to LSU. He started out as a pitcher-catcher, and he wasn't good until this year. And he was, like, the best by far. So that's something interesting, is that he wasn't really good till this year. So everybody's comparing him and saying, oh, he's going to be so good, blah, 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 blah. Steven Strasburg was good for years and years. Like, he was in high school throwing no-nos every other outing. Garrett Cole was good for a long time. So, obviously, you have to compare him to somebody.
Jack Leiter, Kumar Rocker.
But those are horrible comparisons. Those two suck.
But they were amazing in college.
Right. But for a decent amount of time. What I'm saying is this guy was only really good for 1 year. So, maybe we're a little high on him, but I think he had to go top 4 for sure, or top 3 for sure.
Yeah. After what he did this year, he had to. Another point. Well, so actually, they asked Paul Skeens about potentially being a two-way player, and he debated it, and like all of his buddies behind him were like, yeah, and he was like, no, I'm just gonna focus on pitching. So apparently, he still could be a two-way player if he wanted to, but I would not expect that. Speaking of players who were really only good for a short amount of time, though, Dylan Cruz was also the same way. He was the number 2 pick. He hit .426 this year with 17 home runs and a 1280 OPS in 71 games for LSU. He was not good last year, and apparently this was also like another situation where just this year all of a sudden he was really good and everyone's like, holy shit. People are saying that he's comparable to Tyler O'Neill, but I don't like Tyler O'Neill. I don't think he's that good. They're saying he could be Tyler O'Neill without the strikeouts, just based on the way that he's built and for the power that he can hit. He'll be a middle of the lineup bat. He hits really well. Power is pretty decent. I will say the Nationals now have a loaded farm system full of outfielders with James Wood and Dylan Cruz, and I believe they have one other one, but James Wood is a top 5 prospect already in the MLB. Dylan Cruz, once he gets into the system, is probably going to be a top 20 right off the bat, which is kind of crazy. I would expect him most likely in the MLB late next year as well, kind of depending on how the Nationals roll with things. At 3...
Hold on. Let me cook.
Do you want to take that?
Let me cook here. Yeah. Number 3, we had the Tigers pick. So right here, I was texting Austin, our buddy Javi. I'm like, it's got to be Wyatt Langford. It's got to be. Like, he played for Florida, looked great in the College World Series, all-star, like, so good. And then they end up going with Max Clark, the high schooler out of Indiana. You've probably seen him on TikTok. He has a stupid flow, and he's kind of drippy, and he's got a bunch of shoe game. And when they took that pick, I hated it. And then I was like, oh, let me watch. So I watched their backstory, and he's actually like a super humble dude. And they were talking about, what were they talking about? Shit. My ideas are escaping me. Some sort of charity event they put on, and he was like on the forefront. So like real cool there. Did you change my notes at all or no?
You just froze. What did you say?
Oh, never mind. I got it. So, sorry, I was looking at my notes here, and I kind of fucked myself up. But I said not a terrible pick. Langford would have been sweet. However, Langford doesn't really have the fielding, and we've already got outfielders that can't field, Riley Green, kind of.
Wait, hold up.
What?
You just said Riley Green can't field?
He's not that great.
That's kind of hilarious, because after putting together last week's episode and like listening to all the clips about Riley Green and everything, that was all you raved about was Riley Green's fielding.
Maybe I'm wrong. I see. I can't watch the Tigers, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I saw something on Twitter about how the Tigers. Hold on, I'm trying to remember.
I'm pretty sure Riley Green's a great fielder.
I think he is too. And after you called me out, I'm realizing that he had all those diving catches. It was like he had one every week for like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Shit, I take that back. I wish we could back up and delete that. Anyways,
I mean, we could, but I'm not going to.
Maybe I was just thinking Langford's fielding isn't great. But anywho, let me move on here. The upside's ginormous, obviously. He's a high schooler. You can groom him however you want. But we're not going to see him for like 4 years. But I was talking to you guys. This new GM is starting his own rebuild. So he's going to do it with his guys. You put this guy down in rookie ball, whatever, bring him up to double A, let him chill out down there. You can develop his pop. He doesn't really have pop, right? So you just focus on that. His fielding is there. And he's got crazy shoe game. That's the one thing they focused on when they were talking about the draft pick. This dude is a huge sneakerhead, and some of the shit he has is crazy. I don't know how he affords it as a high schooler, but he's definitely got a rich family. Why don't you talk about him, since you know baseball obviously more than me, because I just said that fucking Riley Green is a terrible fielder. You go ahead.
Well, so I agree that the upside is huge. People are saying that he could potentially end up being the best of the top 4 prospects. You also said that you probably won't see him for 4 years, which I don't want to get your hopes up, but I think I disagree. I mean, yeah, he is a high schooler and he's young. And granted, he's not to the same caliber of player as the guy I'm about to mention. But there's guys like Jackson Holliday who were drafted last year as a high schooler, and he is in double A, and 90% of everything that I've heard says that he will be in the MLB starting next year. So there is the possibility that Max Clark also kind of fast tracks it if he develops correctly. And maybe we see him in 2 years. Maybe we see him in 2.5 years. Like, just because he's a high schooler doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to be up for 4 years, you know?
Yeah, and I saw something on Twitter before you get into number 4 here, because I was kind of pissed. I was like, why not take the guy that has the experience? He played college ball. But then you think about Torkelson. He played college. He was raking. And then he gets to the majors, and Torkelson's been a letdown. And then there's the other part of this guy can go straight from high school to the minors and straight develop. He skips the drinking and partying and banging a different girl every weekend. Like, he's just solely going to be focused on baseball, and I think that'll be huge. And I would love if he's in the majors as soon as you're making me think. So
yeah,
don't hate the pick.
I will say,
have some time to think about it.
I will say all of his his clips and his high school stats and everything says that he has a lot of power, but analysis and scouts are basically projecting him to kind of not necessarily lose power, but not really gain power, just because they're expecting him to develop more of his hit tool and his speed than he would power, which isn't bad. I mean, if he's a 15, 20 home run guy, like, that's still really good with everything else that he can do. They're comparing him right now, which I don't like this comparison. They're comparing him to Corbin Carroll and Johnny Damon. The Corbin Carroll one I don't like, just because Corbin Carroll is so young and it's kind of hard to make that comparison, I think.
Yeah, that's dumb.
But he just, like, fundamentals and swing path and everything, he's very similar. He plays outfield. He kind of looks similar, other than he has blonde hair. But
just a real
Johnny
5'2"
Damon,
guy.
I don't know enough about. I know that he was mostly a contact hitter with a little bit of power. He was an all-star, one of the greats, but I just don't know enough about him. But that is another comparison that they're making. So at 4, the luck of the pick, the Texas Rangers get Wyatt Langford out of Florida. He hit .373 with 21 home runs and a .1282 OPS, pretty similar to Dylan Cruz, just a little bit more powered. Like Jake says, he is limited defensively, so most likely I would expect him to end up at, like, first base, right field, DH. Probably won't be a center fielder, but that's okay because the Rangers do have a loaded farm system with their outfielders as well. Plus they have Adolis Garcia, so they don't necessarily need, a great fielding outfielder. In any other draft, Wyatt Langford would have been the number 1, but the top 3 to 4 picks were loaded in this draft. Basically, if you were the Tigers or the Rangers, you were kind of sitting pretty because you had your pick of whether you wanted to take the best high school prospect in the draft or if you wanted to take one of the best college prospects in the draft. So it kind of worked out for the Rangers. Everybody thought that they were going to end up with Max Clark or somebody else. Did not expect Wyatt Langford to even end up in their lap. especially considering Langford was talked about as the number one pick for a while. Player comp for Langford, I would say, is George Springer. Not an amazing fielder, pretty good hitter, hits for power, probably be a top of the lineup, middle of the lineup type guy. I would say expect him up in the MLB 2025, so 2 years, probably start of the season. Anything on Wyatt Langford?
Not really. Just the fact that he's got a sweet name. I like Langford. That's pretty sweet. And I wanted him really bad at 3, but I feel like the Tigers got their prospect that they wanted. If you want somebody, you go get him, They didn't love Langford maybe, and they saw Max Clark, and they're like, let's do it. So, but I think Langford's going to be real good. And the Rangers could be pretty damn good in a couple years. Just imagine if Leiter panned out. Because he's got like a 5.8 ERA in the minors right now.
Leiter and Kumar. Plus they got DeGrom if he stays healthy, which doesn't look great.
They could have been
Nathan Eovaldi, like they still could be great. I mean, you figure they still have Seager locked up for 10 years. They've got Simeon locked up for I don't even know how many years his contract is. Adolis, a loaded outfield farm system. Josh Young, who is currently raking at third base. Jonah Heim,
Yep.
They are going to be good. They are going to compete. They are going to make that AL West even tougher than it already is. So,
Your Brewers, tell me about it.
Yeah, so this pick, I wasn't really sure. I didn't know anything about this guy. After looking into it, I love this pick. They ended up taking Brock Wilken, third baseman out of Wake Forest. He set the ACC record for career home runs. He hit 71 during his time at Wake Forest. I don't know if he was a 3-year player, but he hit 31 this year. He had the second highest isolated power figure in Division I, which is basically just they take your hits and make it a number to basically say how good of a power hitter you are. So he's basically the second best power hitter in all of Division I baseball, which is awesome. He is very slow, so he'll most likely end up at first base, which is fine because that is one of our weaknesses throughout the entire farm system. MLB comp, he does walk a decent amount, doesn't strike out a ton, and hits tanks. MLB comp is Austin Riley, which would be fantastic if we could get an Austin Riley type player to throw in our lineup every day for the next 10 years. I would expect not to see him for 2 to 3 years, even though he was a college bat. I just think for some reason the Brewers tend to slow roll everyone except for Garrett Mitchell. So,
all right, that's your MLB draft talk. Now, last night we had the home run derby as well. Quick rant. I wasn't able to watch it because YouTube TV is a hot pile of garbage. Every other channel was working except for ESPN. I would click ESPN, and it was just black screen. I couldn't figure it out, so I was kind of texting you. I was following along through Twitter, but I couldn't watch it, so I'm going to let you lead the talk. The only thing I want to bitch about is that the new format kind of sucks. I rewatched a couple clips today. I think it's dumb that Adley puts up 27, gives us a great moment with the switch hitting after the timeout, and gets eliminated, and then Vlad goes up against Mookie, who puts up 11, and even said before the derby, I'm not going to do very well. Like, that's just so dumb to me. Go back to the old 10-out format and call it good. Fuck this distance bonus and time, because nobody follows the rule of you got to wait for it to land. I think that's so dumb. Let's get your thoughts, and then we'll move on.
So, first thing, with you trying to watch it, did you try using the ESPN app and just signing in with YouTube TV?
I did not. I gave up so fast just because by the time I got to that point, our P. Alonso bet was dead, so I didn't even really give a shit anymore. But I wish I could have seen J-Rod's performance. I feel like I missed a big MLB moment.
Yeah, it was greatness. I will partially agree with the fact that the new format is dog shit. It's, I don't know, like, I was watching it last night, and half the home runs you don't even get to see land because they're like, oh, that's out, and then they switch to the next one, like, oh, that's out, that's out, that's out. Everyone's just trying to go for quantity, which I guess in this format, that is exactly what you need, is just quantity. But like they had the whole rule of you're not supposed to throw a pitch until the ball lands. What happened to that rule? Because like personally, if you're setting a bonus for 440, I want to see those nukes that get absolutely blasted. I want to see where they land, and just I didn't get to see that yesterday, which sucked. And then you get Vlad was tiring out because he's trying to hit so fast. So then the second and third rounds aren't as good. The first round is great because everyone's still fully like energized and everything. But after the first round, everyone's just out of energy. The Adley moment was awesome. Pete Alonso's pitching coach fucked us because we had Pete Alonso over 21.5 in the first round. And the pitcher that he's been using for the last 4 years, however many years that he's been doing the Derby, was supposed to pitch for him. And then 2 days before, he decided that his elbow hurt and he couldn't pitch. So then Pete Alonso had to get a new coach. Coach was basically intentionally walking him the entire time up there. So obviously Pete was not hitting home runs, and he finished at 21. So I was very upset over that. Little preview, I do have a do not bet list edition this week.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What is it?
That is all I have. I would have loved to see J-Rod win the thing, especially there. Oh, also, since you didn't watch it, I was going to send you a picture, but there was about 30 seconds on TV where they were showing it, where Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Jr. the third were sitting next to each other, smiling and talking, and they took a picture.
Oh, shit.
And I have to find that picture. I will tweet it once I find it. The man who built the building and the man who is setting his own bricks in that building, Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Jr. the third, were together last night. So that was a pretty awesome moment.
I fucking love it.
Last thing.
Last thing.
Luis Robert. You didn't get to watch any of it? No, I know. But Luis Robert, I thought about this last night, but I was like, man, I wonder if anyone's ever gotten injured in like the All-Star game or the Home Run Derby, where it's like ended their season or whatever. Luis Robert is pulling himself out of the All-Star game tonight because he has a tight hamstring that he noticed in the second round of last night's Home Run Derby.
No way.
Yes.
Damn.
Which makes sense because he cranked balls the first round and then just shit the bed in the second round.
Yep. Two things from me. First, I want to apologize. Austin, I don't know if you saw the freak out panic while you were talking there. My headphone died.
Yeah, I saw you leave, and I was very scared.
Yep, so my headphone died. So your sound was coming out of my phone, and I'm pretty sure my mic's going to pick it up. So that's our technical difficulty for this episode. So I threw in the other headphone, and you were still coming out of the phone, so I had to panic, leave, left. I got it figured out. But I just want to apologize because you're probably going to echo this week. Doesn't matter. It's all good. The second thing.
I'll fix it.
The second thing is Brandon Inge, 2009, competed in the Home Run Derby. He was fourth in the AL in home runs, and this was back when they had the out system. He didn't hit a single home run, and then the rest of that year, he only hit 2. He broke his swing by competing in the Derby, and that was like big news, and his career fell off after that. I don't know if you knew that. Found that out at work.
So I heard something about this last night, or maybe it was yesterday when I listened to a fantasy baseball podcast every day, and they were talking about it, and everyone was saying how like players who compete end up sucking in the second half. No, usually what happens is the guys that they pick are guys that are playing out of their mind. Mm-hmm. So then they do the Home Run Derby and they take a week off, and then they come back and they just regress to either what they would normally play or like just below normal levels, and everyone thinks that they just suck. No, it's just because they were playing amazing in the first half. That's why they got selected to the Home Run Derby, and now they're normal again. So, I don't know. That's something to watch out for. I do think Vlad had a horrible first half. He only hit 13 home runs and like 1 home run at home. I think he's about to have a huge second half.
Take the over on Vlad. All right, you ready for the grid?
I am.
All right. We're going to hit the
Let's
NFL
look
grid
this
right
up.
now, and then we'll do our top 5 and send y'all on your way. So right now, are you in, Frankie?
I am.
All right, so we're looking at up top. We've got Falcons, Cardinals, Cowboys. Then we've got Rams, Jaguars, and Alabama down the left side. So I've got one already.
All right.
Jaguars,
So do I.
Falcons is Ridley.
Oh, I was going to say that for Falcons, Bama.
Ooh, that is a good one. Do we know anybody else for? Well, let's wait. Falcons, Bama. There's got to be somebody else. What do they got at running back? They've got.
Well, okay. Before we go there, Falcons, Rams, we can put Gurley.
Yep. Can you do all timers?
Yep.
All right, perfect.
So that was 74.6%.
Yeah, let's just
Interesting.
focus on getting them all before we go for rarity. So it shows you the percentage of people that guess that player as well. So eventually, once we get really good at this, we might go for rarity score. But right now, I can only think of a couple for everything, so I think we just focus on that.
I agree.
Cowboys Rams has to be easy. Think of like a defensive line. Michael Brockers, did he play for the Cowboys?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't think he did. Can we think of anybody else from Bama that played for the Falcons? Julio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, God, I don't know if
Julio
I can hear him.
Jones.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Julio Jones. I put it in.
All right, and then Ridley for Jags.
Son
and
Ridley.
Falcons.
Yep.
Perfect. And then Julio. Good. We're 3 of 9 right now. That's a hot start. All right.
All right.
Cardinals, Jags. Oh. Christian Kirk.
Yep.
Bang.
Good.
We're off to a good start. Rams, Cards. Quarterbacks, running backs. Oh, Rams, Cards. Kurt. What's his last name? Kurt Warner.
Bang. Oh.
Bang. Bama, Cards.
Kurt Warner.
I only
Wait,
really-
was Kurt Warner wrong?
No, it was correct.
Did
you choose the wrong person?
I don't know. I'm resetting it because something happened where it didn't go right.
You did Cards, Rams,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I selected the Kurt Warner with a C, not with a K.
Oh.
On
I
accident.
didn't know there was two.
I was like, what?
We should think kickers, too. I feel like kickers might be good here. Yeah. Who's the Cowboys kicker that went to the Rams?
Doesn't his last name start with a B?
It's not Brett Maher. It's the old one. What the fuck is his name? Oh my God. It's Dan something? No. Dan Bailey. Dan Bailey.
See, I knew it. Yeah.
Oh wait, that was wrong?
I was wrong.
We got to ride that out because we were confident. I swear that's right.
Well,
All right, you keep thinking. I'm going to Google that. I think that was right. Oh, he went to the Vikings. I swear to God he played for the Cowboys. Or the
where
Rams.
did
No, he went from Dallas
No,
to
Zeke
Minnesota.
went to-
My bad there. I was confident in that one.
Dax CeeDee Lamb went to Bama, right?
No, he went to Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I knew it was a red team.
Cowboys, Bama. Who else do they got at receiver? They got Gallup. Where did he go? Oklahoma State. What about tight end? No. That might be a. That might be an offensive
Doesn't
line.
don't the Cowboys have that big giant dude on the edge?
No. Pause. I'm thinking. The cornerback that's really good for the Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs.
Travion Diggs.
Isn't it? Is it Trayvon or is it's not Quandre? Yeah, Trayvon Diggs.
No.
He's that cornerback. I just
Yeah.
put it in. It's right. Cowboys, Bama, Trayvon Diggs. Cardinals,
Okay.
Bama. Who played for the Cardinals and went to Alabama? It's not a kicker. Could be a punter, maybe. No. Quarterback.
Think about running backs for them. Where did David Johnson go?
Ooh, not Bama. I don't think I would remember. Ooh. No, think receivers too. Hopkins? Where'd Hopkins go? Clemson.
Yep.
Tight ends? No.
Zach Ertz, no.
It's gonna be a defensive player. I got nothing on the defensive side. What about Rams-Cowboys? That's got to be easy. Quarterback, no. What about, did Cooper Rush play for the Rams for a little bit? Or has he always been a Cowboy?
I don't know.
I
mean, do we just risk it?
I think we should because this is going kind of long, and I don't think we're going to get it. I'm going to throw Cooper Rush in there. That was incorrect.
So we wasted 2 on the Cowboys and Rams.
Yeah, I was really confident in Dan Bailey. Who's the kicker for the Rams right now? It's the guy that had the back.
Matt Gay.
Oh, he didn't play for the Cowboys. I was thinking Dan Bailey, but I forgot he was with the Vikings. All right, Jags-Cowboys. Anything? Jags-Cowboys. Where did Dalton Schultz just go? Did he go to the Texans?
He went to, Texans.
What about running backs for the Jags? Who do they got? I don't know who their backup
ETN,
is.
James Robinson.
James Robinson went to the Jags.
Oh, no, the Jags have a loaded backfield right now. There's a bunch of dudes that have played all over the place there.
What about
Fuck.
Justin Blackmon? That's a shot in the dark, but he definitely played for the Cowboys and then got suspended. I wonder if he went to the Jags. Should we roll with it and just move on?
Fuck it.
That wasn't right. Where does it show the answers? It doesn't, does it?
I have no idea. I haven't finished a complete one with this.
That's annoying. It doesn't show answers. All right, well, I'm going to look it up after the show just out of curiosity. But that was your first ever grid. 6 out of 9 isn't bad. I feel like we could have got Cardinals.
6. Didn't we have 5?
No, we got 6. Trayvon Diggs, bottom right.
Yeah, Trayvon Diggs, Julio, Calvin, Todd Gurley, Kurt Warner.
And Christian Kirk for the Cardinals and Jags.
Oh, yeah, Christian Kirk.
So we got 6 out of 9. That's not bad off rip, but we definitely need a 9 out of 9. I'm going to look those up when we're done recording. All right. What's our time at, by the way, just for me?
47 minutes right now.
Oh, we're not even bad. I was rushing kind of, but we don't need to. All right. Top 5 sports folks we would like to see in a celebrity home run derby. Who's your number 5?
Number 5, I am going with... Oh, I had this one. I'm going to go with Dave Roberts, Dodgers manager.
You're taking former
Is that
baseball
cheating?
players? No, actually, sorry. I take it back. That's not cheating because I have a current MLB player, so not cheating.
Okay.
What's your reason? I
mean,
no pop.
Yeah, but it's a former baseball player. He coaches the Dodgers of all teams, and if he did hit home runs, it would be kind of electric to see it.
Okay. I'm changing my number 5, by the way.
I have one who is like a former player in a different league. Does that count?
Yeah, that's fine. You can anybody as long as they relate to sports. My number 5, I'm taking Mark McGwire. Never got to see him play, just like clips, but how sweet would it be to see him in a derby juiced up?
Yeah, that would be pretty dope.
I think that would be, dare I say, electric. All right, you're number 4.
Number 4, I'm gonna go The Rock.
Ooh, good pick. Good pick.
That was my pick, and I was just debating whether I wanted to put him lower or higher. Yeah, I mean, dude, I think if we gave him 10, if we went classic format, this dude would put up monster numbers and compete with almost anyone in a home run derby.
Yeah, I think so. As long as he knows how to swing a bat. That's it.
Yeah.
My number 4, I went a different route. I said Tony Dombrowski. For those who don't know, he's big in the Twitter world. He's a huge huge Detroit sports fan. Real scrawny guy, probably 120 soaking wet. Definitely doesn't know how to swing a baseball bat, and I think it would be hilarious trying to see seeing him try to get one out of the infield. So he's my number 4. You're number 3.
Number 3, I'm going to go with, let's go another coach. We'll go Sean McVay.
Ooh,
another jacked, a little bit younger. I think he'd be kind of like a Randy Arozarena type, where he's just not long home runs, but he's in good enough shape where he could just crank some out real quick and compete pretty well.
Okay. My number 3, I said Joe Burrow. I'm sure a lot of you saw the clip of him taking BP at a Reds game. I think he'd be fun to see in the Derby. I think he'd be electric.
I agree.
Plain and simple. Just if you haven't seen it, look up the clip of Joe Burrow taking BP. You're number 2.
Number 2, Pat McAfee.
Oh, yeah.
Another built dude. Commentary would be hilarious. I've seen some of his golf videos. Based off the way he golfs, I would assume that he knows how to swing a baseball bat too.
Okay. For me, that pick is all commentary because it would just be hilarious. That's that pick for me. My number 2, and you're going to say this isn't allowed, but I'm the one that thought of the idea, so it is allowed. Spencer Torkelson. He's never going to actually make a derby, but...
you don't know that.
You're right. He could make a derby, but based on how he's playing this year, he would probably swing and miss 4 times, but also hit 500-foot moonshots foul and end up with like 6 home runs.
Yeah, well, you never know.
I just think I saw a picture of him. So obviously none of the Tigers made the All-Star game, so a lot of them are out on the lakes. And I saw
one would have.
Oh yeah, I guess that's bad on me as a fan for not knowing who that is. But anyways, it's not Spencer Torkelson, right?
I don't either. I'm just saying every team gets one.
Oh, well, Spencer Torkelson was out on the lake with Riley Green. Somebody put it on their Instagram story, and Spencer Torkelson's arms are massive. Like, it's insane to me that this dude does not hit just absolute tanks. It's because he swings and misses more than he fucking makes contact. Anyways, on to the next one. You're number 1.
So my number 1, I have actually done most of this list off the top of my dome. This one, a little different. Kind of on the same commentary / still kind of built. Give me John Cena.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Sleeper pick, but
you wouldn't be
I think his celebrations. That's true. So he would win.
That's true.
Because
nobody would know how many
you wouldn't
he
be
hit.
able to see. Yeah, exactly. I think the celebrations would be fantastic. B, I think the showmanship and commentary from John Cena would also be electric. And C, he's huge.
Yep. My number 1, Dan Campbell. Dude is yoked. I know he played baseball back in the day. He would give some motivational speeches all throughout to himself that we'd be able to hear. And dude's got he's got pythons for arms. I mean, he would just be hitting nukes. Number 1, Dan Campbell, Motor City Dan, best coach in the NFL. Love it. You got any honorable mentions?
Yeah, honorable mention. Craig Counsell.
Okay.
Weird stance.
Yep.
Still think it'd be fun. There was one I had that I forgot who I was going to say. I don't remember. If I remember it, I'll say it.
Okay.
But.
I've got a couple. I had Vince Wilfork, absolute tank.
True.
Aiden Hutchinson. Zdeno Chara.
True.
Picture that. 7 foot trying to swing a bat. And then
Kevin Hart.
I put Alex
Not
Ovechkin.
sports, but.
Who'd you say?
Yeah, that one would be all right.
The only reason I put Ovechkin is because I don't know if you know this story, but the first time he ever played golf was in the off season with his team members, and he hit a hole-in-one.
Oh.
Yeah, like just his swing is awful though, but he's just that guy that's good at everything, and I feel like he'd poke 1 or 2 out just by sheer luck. You know?
Pure athletes. Steph Curry.
Yep.
LeBron James.
I bet you Steph Curry has a great swing. Patrick Mahomes.
You know who I think would be a good one?
Kyler Murray.
Stephen A.
Yeah, Stephen A.
Stephen A. Or Mad Dog just so he can get shit talked.
Yeah. Skip
And then-
because fuck him.
Yep, Skip. Colin Coward. Fuck that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't hate Colin, but yeah, just I'd like to see some of these sports commentators, announcers get out there. Oh, fuck, what's his name? The back.
Berman, Chris Berman.
Berman. Love to see Berman in one.
Yep. All right, that's your top five
That's pretty much
there.
all I got.
I'm loading up roulette right now. We did say we're gonna keep track of stats today. I wanted to get your where you're at. Right now I've got us down 70. We obviously had 50 for the 1 year special. Do you want to count that or no?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
We'll keep it true.
We had 50 for the 1 year special and then 20 for normal. So we're starting the new year down 70. We're gonna do 10 numbers, $2 a piece every week. I'm gonna need you to read me those numbers. It just ended, but I'm going to wait one more roll just so I'm not rushing. And I can get this camera set up for you. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need one more.
Okay.
Let's go.
What are mine? 0, 3, 9, 22, and 33?
Yes.
Okay. All right. The ball is rolling right now. Looks like one lightning number. Glad we missed this one. It's 17. I'll only be salty.
None of our numbers.
I'll only be salty if one of mine would have hit. All right, get ready to read me numbers here.
Okay.
21 would have hit. All right, hang on. I'm going to put mine in, and I'll tell you when to read them. 0, 3, 9, 22, 33. Go ahead.
7.
Yep.
12.
Yep.
23.
Yep.
24.
Yep.
And 30.
And 30. All right, we got a good spread here. I like this. Can you see?
Yeah.
All right. Give me some lightning numbers. We got 3 of them.
3 of them.
19, 21,
21.
23.
23, okay.
We do have 23 at 100.
Something to work with.
Yep. Let's
Something
get a
to
hit
work
start
with.
the year here. 36. None of our numbers.
I almost took 36. I feel like I say that every time, but
36 hits a lot, I feel like, on our roulette spins.
a decent amount.
I'm going to watch this next spin while we wrap up just to see if we would have hit if I would have waited. Just to kind of, rub salt in the wound.
I was going to say that would be a little frustrating.
But you know what? That's it for us this week. I feel like we had a good time there. I like our new segments. We'll stick with those. I love the NFL Grid. That was fun. I just hope we do better in the future. Slightly embarrassed there. 2 and 9 on the next spin lightning numbers. I don't think I took 2. But I do like 9. If 9 hits, I'm going to be so sad.
That's our biggest winner.
It was 13. It was 13, which we did not have.
Nope.
All right.
That was your other number, though.
Have a great weekend. Let's hit some takes, door some tutties. We'll see you next week for another great episode of Tanks and Tutties.
Peace.